second with Frazier. Clerk Wright, could you please bring us back an open meeting with a roll call vote?
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
trustee Miller,
Yes.
that was trustee Frazier,
Yes.
trustee Barton,
Yep.
yes for me. Supervisor.
Thank you. I'm going to waive the executive summary, but basically we have a presentation by the Wayne County Airport Authority and a presentation on a new website today. We're going to move on to the adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Supervisor,
So
make a
moved.
motion that we adopt the agenda.
Okay, Martin and Frazier.
Yeah.
Okay, clerk, could you call roll?
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
trustee Martin,
Yes.
trustee Boyne.
Yep.
Trustee Frazier,
Yes.
yes for me. Supervisor,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, next one is adoption of the consent agenda. Trustee Miller, could you make the adoption of the consent agenda?
Yes, I make a motion for adoption of the consent agenda as follows. Number 1, board meeting minutes of February 2nd, 2021. 2, prepaid list of February 4th, 2021. 3, prepaid list of February 11th, 2021. 4, voucher list of February 16th, 2021. 5, approval of the reappointment of Harlan Davenport to the Construction Code Appeals Board with the term to expire 2/28/2023. 6, approval of the reappointment of Michael McGovern to the Construction Code Appeals Board with a term to expire 2/28/2024. 7, approval of the reappointment of Craig Atchison, Chris Brown, and Don Chappelle to the Downtown Development Authority with terms to expire March 9th, 2025.
Excellent. I have a motion and I have a second.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
She missed one. There's a number 8, adoption on resolution 2021-06 Van Buren Township Property Exemption Guidelines.
I don't have that.
You don't have the revised edition.
No.
okay, so we have, would you accept that amendment, trustee Miller?
Yes, with the amendment of number 8. And since I don't have it, Don, can you read number 8?
I did.
Okay,
Read it again.
all right. Okay, read it again.
Adoption on resolution 2021-06 Van Buren Township Poverty Exemption Guidelines.
Thank you. Okay, I have a motion. I have a second. It's consent agenda. So Clerk Wright, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Boyne,
Yeah.
trustee Miller,
Yes.
trustee Frazier,
Yes.
trustee Martin,
Yes.
yes for me. Supervisor,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. We are now in the public hearing. Is there anybody that wishes to speak at the public hearing? We're moving on then. Correspondence, announcements, and presentations. I have no announcements. Does anybody have any announcements? No. Presentations. We have a presentation today by Chad Newton, who is the director of the Wayne County Airport Authority. He's also the director, which conversely is the director of Willow Run Airport. And he has spectacular deputy, Brian Holt, who's been doing a marvelous job in the area. Elevate them. And of course, when we find Sherry, could you elevate her?
Of course, yes. Brian and Chad are both on the line.
All right. Thank you. Hello. Hi, Brian. Chad, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, I am just going to set Chad as our new director of the Wayne County Airport Authority. I can tell you he's a stand-up guy, and we really like what he's been doing over there. They're doing a great job. I actually met with them and thought that they'd be into some real financial issues over there. And turns out Chad got right on it and has done a marvelous job. And he's very well respected by regional community leaders, the unions, and by his own board, which is important. So Take it away, Chad.
All right. Well, thank you for having me this evening along with my team. I appreciate it. I want to thank Supervisor McNamara and the entire board for just giving us a few minutes so we can come and just share with you some very important issues that are going on at Willow Run. Kevin's been a person I met over the last few years as I've taken this position. He's been very responsive, always takes my calls, is always able to assist. And we really appreciate the partnership and the leadership that you bring to this area. As a longtime resident of Van Buren Township, in fact, I grew up there. I went to elementary, middle school, and high school, graduated from Belleville High School. And then I went on to serving the military for 4 years prior to starting my career at the Wayne County Airport Authority, or excuse me, Wayne County, which eventually became the Wayne County Airport Authority in 2002. I've been the CEO of the Wayne County Airport Authority for almost 3 years now. And, obviously I'm looking forward to many more years. Recently, I was asked in a National Airport magazine how I plan on balancing both Detroit Metro Airport and Willow Run Airport. And I had an opportunity to share my vision with the magazine and with people who ever read the magazine and talk about the way that our vision for the modernization plan and how we plan on implementing that. As you probably are aware, the Willow Run Airport is a very old airport. It has very old infrastructure, but there is a demand out there, and we have we've built a team that is working very hard to revitalize Willow Run Airport, and it's going to pay dividends to the community. With me today, I brought our Chief Development Officer, Senior Vice President Bryant Holt, and our Director of Business Development in Real Estate, Marcus Tommy. And both of these gentlemen are going to speak with you about our modernization plan and what you can expect to see, not only right now, what you can see right now, but also in the future. So thank you for allowing us to have a few moments, taking your time. I will give a quick shout out. I don't know that she's on, but Sherry Budd is a longtime friend of our family. She's been serving for many, many years. She was serving 20 years ago when I was still living in the township. No longer living in the township, but my heart is with Van Buren and the Belleville High School. So a lot of great memories there. Fantastic community. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Bryant, and then you'll also be hearing from Marcus as well. Thank you.
Chad, before you leave, I do want to say that Sherry Budd was talking about you, your family, you growing up. Sherry is the reason we've been waiting. We lost her somehow, and we have not been able to get her back on for 20 minutes, but I couldn't keep on waiting. So.
Oh, great. All right. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Can the board see the slide?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So thank you, Chad. What I like to do is soon after Chad took the helm as CEO, we established these 4 strategic pillars for driving the modernization plan. Oops, sorry about that. Lost my clicker. We established a funding plan, an infrastructure plan, an operating improvement plan, as well as a revenue growth plan. And these were all really important in order for us to be able to establish support from our board, as well as some of our airline partners who would have had to kind of support us in this endeavor. So here's our airfield infrastructure timeline with preparations of construction of the 927 reconstruction project. We also anticipate plans to build an additional taxiway, parallel taxiway called Taxiway Alpha, which I'll talk a little bit about a little bit further in the presentation. Just know that the FAA and MDOT has committed $57 million toward this infrastructure project. So we've already basically acquired our equipment, and we've started the decoupling designs, and we'll go into the decoupling construction this fall. So we're really excited about this project getting underway and looking forward to making some headway there. Next, the airport continues to invest in our utility infrastructure. As Mr. McNamara knows, the airport has participated in the Eagle MPARC panel, where we're involved in the PFAS mitigations to ensure that our water quality maintains a certain amount of quality. So we're working with representatives who are represented there, Representative U.S. Senator Stabenow's office, Senator Peters' office, as well as Ypsilanti Township, Brenda Stabo. And of course, Kevin participates on that panel as well. But we are looking to play a critical role in the implementation of our PFAS mitigation plan to protect the private and public water sources. The airport authority is committed, though, to spending about $30 million in infrastructure spending. We know that Van Buren Township is aware of this because your team has been partnering with us on all the permits we've been submitting. So this wouldn't be anything new to the staff there at Van Buren. We're also finding new ways to better leverage our people and our equipment between both airports. This is actually helping us streamline a lot of our expenses. So we hope to basically reduce our operating costs by about 2.5% in operating costs. And this is going to help the airport to be able to look for ways to better utilize our equipment between both airports and make sure that we have world-class operations at both facilities. The fourth pillar is really focused on attracting new business to our Willow Run Airport. That's our goal. Instead of sitting back and waiting for opportunities to come to us, we have been proactively developing value propositions to help drive organic growth, both through public and private investments. So far, we have on the east side developments committed to about $25 million in private investments that we believe is going to be part of the catalyst for us driving new developments. And so there's more on the horizon, and we'll talk about that in a few more moments here. So while the west side of the Willow Run Airport is overshadowed by the American Center for Mobility, I'm sure everybody's heard about that, and the potential expansion of the technology-related operations, we've made a conscious decision at the Airport Authority to build up the east side with aeronautical activity. Not because we wanted to, but because of necessity. It has significantly reduced our modernization constraint by $100 million. So we've basically have, let me bring my pointer up here so that I could call out. So right now, the boundary line here is where the airport activities take place. And this is where we look at all of the sort of Center for Mobility to build a tech park. So that's going to probably expand in that area. The state of Michigan has provided a $8.5 million grant, landscaping gateway for that. So the west side, we think, is going to be taken care of. So we want to start shifting our emphasis. With that, we're going to build up a lot of the fundamental building blocks. So as I mentioned, starting this year, we're going to decouple this 927 runway, and we're going to build the fillets for the 523 runway. This is going to be a parallel taxiway going to follow in the 2024 timeline. So all of this infrastructure is part of the building blocks. We'll decouple this. This will become the primary runway. We'll remove all this excess pavement. And of course, all of our new stormwater, fiber, and electrical will be in the ground. We're pretty excited about this. It's not very attractive and sexy at this point, but this is the preparation really for building growth. And so to tell you a little bit about what's going to actually happen in 2021, I've invited Marcus Tomey, our Director of Business Development and Real Estate, to walk us through the actual developments that's coming online in 2021. Marcus?
Well, thank you very much, Bryant. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Board of Trustees. My name is Marcus Tomey, and I'm responsible for business development and real estate. And I'm happy to come before you today to tell you about some of the activities that are taking place here at the airport. As you know, Willow Run has had a storied history dating back to World War II. In that time, the face of the airport has seen many changes. I've started working for the county at the airport in 1999, and I have not seen this level of development in the decades since then. One of those major changes has come in the form of private aeronautical development. With our stakeholders, we identified many areas that you see here that were ripe for development. 8 of those for expansion and growth at the airport. And so let me take you through some of the developments that are already underway. The Avfuel Corporation is a global leader in aviation fuel sales and fixed base operations. Avfuel and their flight operation Avflight is building 2 15,000 square foot hangars with the first right of refusal to build 2 additional hangars right next door to this development. One of the first of our tenants to put shovels in the ground, Avfuel has made a major commitment to brighten the future by bringing this ultra-modern hangar complex to the airport. Our second fixed base operator, Active Quantum, is well known for their ability to leverage expert knowledge with a dedication to the highest customer service standards. Doing business under the Odyssey name, they have committed to building an expansion to their existing hangar that will allow them to serve larger corporate aircraft. Due to further growth in the industry, Active Quantum has actually approached the airport about building another hangar in addition to this hangar expansion. So a lot more to come from Odyssey. And I think it's safe to say that everyone knows the Great Lake Water Authority. They provide nearly 40% of the state's population with drinking water, and the airport is completing a sale that will send 22.5 acres of land to the Great Lakes Water Authority so that it can build the next generation pump station that will supply the surrounding community with drinking water for decades to come. Our community and region has a lot of gems, or those special places, things, events that bring both local and out-of-state visitors here. The Yankee Air Museum and the Thunder Over Michigan Air Show are some of those gems. And later this year, the Yankee Air Museum will complete their new Roush Aeronautics Center that will house the vintage and historic aircraft such as the Ford Trimotor, the C-47 Hairless Joe, the B-25 Mitchell, and of course, the B-17 Yankee Lady. And the airport has an agreement with the FAA that will allow the Yankee Air Museum to conduct its maintenance operations inside the aircraft operating area. One of the largest air cargo operators in the world, Coletta Air, is expanding its flight simulator building to add 3 additional high-tech flight simulators. Coletta has recently partnered with Delta Airlines to provide their pilots with another location to learn to fly the heavy wide-body aircraft that are regularly seen flying into and out of Willow Run Airport. To continue to maintain its status as a national reliever airport, Willow Run worked with the Department of Homeland Security to build a new home for our federal partners with the Customs and Border Protection Agency. The airport will be building a new state-of-the-art office for the CBP officers inside of the existing Odyssey hangar. And with that, thank you very much for your time. And Bryant will take you through our approach to growth at Willow Run. Thank you.
Thanks, Marcus. So as you can see, 2021 is going to be a banner year in terms of growth. If you've driven by the airport, you'll see cranes, you'll see different augers, different types of equipment moving earth. We're making things happen out there. What we want to do is over the next year or two, we have a plan to really promote the airport. And what I mean by that, we're going to take advantage of the air show and other opportunities where we have captive audiences to really promote the types of activities we have going on at the airport. Here are some of the ones that I want to call out that we're looking to propose. Part of it's going to be through our FAA partners, part of it's through our private investor partners, but just to be aware. So just call out a few of these. We want to basically look at expanding the 2 areas here in the north part of our ramp, as well as this is the south part of our east ramp. This would bring in more aeronautical activity. One of the things we also want to do is to work in partnership with Van Buren Township as we look at doing something very similar as they did on the west side, but to build an entire parkway system landscape in phases. So this first phase would be something we'd want to partner early on to build a landscaping product for the east side of the airport. One of the things I wanted to call out too is we have a plan. What we want to do is to develop our new world headquarters for Willow Run Airport on the east side. And it will sit at this intersection here that would be part of the main focal point as you come into the airport in the future. Obviously, this is going to be in connection with the headquarters and concessions driven primarily by the market. So as we bring in more aeronautical activities that require more amenities, and part of that amenities is going to be through this expanded GA air park that we're looking to bring in more aircraft from some of the smaller communities that are looking to us as a way to really divert those aircrafts into this market. So we're slowly building the footprint to be able to receive those extra aircraft that's on the horizon. The thing that's going to be a game changer for this airport is by us being able to bring in a major player like a maintenance repair overhaul complex that will bring in the large aircraft, which will then enable us to go to the FAA to seek funding to extend the runway. With this extension of the runway, we become a bona fide major airport player. So this has always been our end game. And we hope that with that, then we can start drawing in the kind of bigger cargo areas that will need some direct link to I-94. So this is really kind of our new business model. The new business model is to really create, I want you to imagine for a minute, a downtown Van Buren Township airport destination. It's not just an economic engine for your community, but really for the entire region. So this really is a game changer if we can provide this kind of product that will be just up the road from the downtown municipal buildings and offices of Van Buren Township. So now we start connecting to the other thoroughfares that connect to your business districts. This is what we believe is going to be something that's achievable and reasonable given where we are with our projections and where we want to grow. So we knew we only had 15 minutes. We didn't want to take up too much of your time, but we certainly wanted to show you where we were with our progress and be able to ask any questions that you might have.
Thank you. I cannot see everybody, but so does anybody have any questions? Just go ahead and blurt it out.
Through the chair?
Yes, go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry, did I interrupt someone else wanting to talk?
Go ahead. I can't see everybody, so you can go and then somebody else can.
Okay, so all this growth, and I see where you're adding these hangars. Hangars means I take it more flights coming in and out, more traffic. How will this affect Van Buren Township's traffic flow? Has there been a traffic study done on this?
Yeah.
How will this impact the area? Because I know we're planning on building a community center sometime down the road. So how is this going to affect that end of the township's traffic flow?
That's a great question. And that's one of the reasons why, if you look at this parkway, it talks about really another access point. Because it's not just the GA aircraft is going to be very, very small. Those are T hangars. The larger aircraft where we bring in the kind of landing fees, they're not really the type that's going to bring in traffic volume per se, but they would bring in what we would call multiplier effects that would be spending money. So the idea here is to create a new connector to 94 so that it's not running through your community traffic. This would be
okay.
A local one. So if you think about the parkway now, this is really driving that traffic away from your community.
And how will noise be taken into account here for the township?
We would most definitely do what we call a Part 150 study that goes with any kind of aeronautical activity that we would have to bring in. We have just completed that modern master plan for Willow Run Airport and completed that Part 150 as part of our original master plan, which had because of our noise contours did not really create any more aircraft. We lowered our number of aircraft design groups as a result of our last master plan, which hurt our funding. So if we had the large aircraft that we wanted, Ms. Miller, then I wouldn't even be really trying to look for funding to build this extension. So the size of this aircraft, this runway, is indicative of the aircraft group that operates there. So the noise you hear right now, it's that you wouldn't hear any more than that unless we were able to bring in heavies that would constitute really a different contour, a noise contour.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Problem.
Anybody else like to speak? I have a question then. Do you have is that a what do they call a wraparound or turnaround?
Roundabout.
Yeah, they're used for high volume intersections. You've got big dreams.
Well, it's non-sustainable too, so you don't have to put a traffic light with power.
Okay, all right.
And it becomes a real focal point because we want to create, again, a destination place as being just an afterthought that Willow Run is sitting out there in your backyard.
So to build a roundabout, would you have to use state funds, federal funds? What would you have to use to do that?
We will probably look at state funding, and again, that'll be another conversation, Supervisor McNamara, that we would like to have with you. Really, the partnership, because it's 2 phases. This first phase is to kind of look at this basic landscaping thing to beautify what we have out there.
Sure.
So right now we have development going in. We would like to be able to do something. The ultimate really would be to go and set up an entire landscaping theme so that it's congruent with what's happening on the west side. And
yeah,
we'd love to see an $8.5 million grant for us to do landscaping on the east side.
really.
But this would be no cost to the township at all, correct?
Absolutely no cost. You could certainly partner with us as far as being supportive. And obviously you would want to see us being able to bring in. The only thing that I would say, depending on how fancy we wanted to get, if we wanted to get street lights in there, obviously that brings in a different kind of a cost calculation, but we can also go with passive systems and keep it just with trees and ornaments and things of that nature.
Okay. All right. I see Treasurer Sherry Buds on the line. Did Chad leave? Chad left, but Sherry, he was saying lots of nice things about you.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, good. I say hi, Sherry, because I was upset that we missed that.
I'm here.
So Chad says he knows you.
I've known Chad for a long time. He probably doesn't know how long, but I've known Chad.
Yes, I know how long, and I appreciate the long time friendship our families have had, and having a chance to grow up with her boys and play sports with them, it was a great thrill in my life.
Okay. So let me ask. Go ahead.
You are doing so well, and we are very proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Damn, you're boy done good. So you got T hangers. Okay, how many? So T hangers for the unknowledgeable is a small hangar that they would put a single engine plane in for kids to go out and fly around. How many T hangers are you putting in?
Well, I wish they were just for kids. They're very expensive toys, unfortunately.
Mine's got one of those, and he tells me he paid $180 for it. So
yeah, we're actually looking at the market very closely. So in full transparency, we were approached by the supervisor out in Ann Arbor, and so they're landlocked, and so we offer an opportunity for us to be able to absorb some of that general aviation activity. And right now, Marcus, what have we targeted as far as the full footprint and then in phases? What was the full footprint?
So currently, between our 2 developments for all of our T hangars, They're completely capped out around about 80 aircraft. So we're looking at bringing in enough T hangars that will support an additional 162 aircraft. So again, we're talking Cessnas and Cherokees, Pipers, the smaller, 2 to 6 person or passenger aircraft that would fit in the hangars. But we want to make sure that we are strategizing to support that demand that we see coming to our airport for that general aviation aircraft.
What I would hope we could do is bring in other concessions like rental cars that would be based there at our headquarters. There would be other concessions that would also be traffic that would come through and hit your restaurants, that would partake in activities along your, so the whole idea is that's going to become the new thoroughfare for capture of the multiplier effect of like I said, that additional traffic that's going to come through from the smaller aircraft. That's the ones you want to grab. That's where the money is.
Okay, and we do collect taxes on these items, so just let everybody know it is.
We hope to sell fuel. That's going to be one of the things. We don't get a whole lot of landing fees for small aircraft, but we do get the fuel charge and the title from the rent.
Well, like as you said, as Mr. Tomey said, I've been watching that airport for 30 years, maybe more, and I have never seen the kind of expansion at that airport. I've heard people talk about it. I've heard people dream about it, but I see shovels in the ground and cranes going up, and I cannot get over it. That's amazing what you're doing there. Thank you.
We would like to partner with you guys in closing because we do want to regulate the growth. I mean, we have them coming in now. We're like, really, this has been the first time we've actually been trying to push people off because we have to take this in steps that we can control. So I really appreciate your questions, and I would really certainly like to be able to have a task force with you guys on a regular basis just to understand what is the type of growth and businesses you're looking at. We want aeronautical office parks, so it would be engineering firms that support the parts and maintenance of the aircraft. They service the aircraft. They're that kind of venue. So it's really kind of a high-tech, higher level education and technicians.
Well, I like the corporate jets. Again, I live in the flight path area. So I hear maybe 2 or 3 planes a day, and that's it. Although I see that they're coming over every half hour, it's the old loud ones that get me. And so the little ones, I don't mind those guys, and the Yankee Air Museum, I don't mind those guys. Are kind of interesting to watch.
But we're going to bring in the big new ones that are quieter.
That's what I want. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're going to sign out if you have no more questions. Okay.
We're going to move on, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry to make you wait so long.
No problem.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Good night.
Okay, we're going to be moving on now to our next presentation. I'm going to hand it over to Dan, but as you know, we've been working extremely hard, all departments, everybody, right down to the account clerks and the janitors and everybody else, to develop a website, and we're going to get our first glimpse of it before it goes live. Dan, could you take over?
Hi, good evening, board. Thank you for having me tonight. I have shared, Treasurer Bud is on the line, so hopefully I don't have any feedback audio issues because she's joined with me on another line. So I am going to be very brief because I'm going to turn it over to our communications people, but I did want to welcome Denise Brazier. She was our project coordinator and our trainer, and Joseph Nagrant, he was our rep from Revise. So I'm going to turn it over to him for just in a moment, but I just want to thank everybody that was helping us from all the departments get this site up and going. And this was really Alicia's other baby. So, but I do want to thank Elizabeth from Public Services and Casey and all the other departments that were very integral in helping us design this site the best we could. And we really wanted it to be user-friendly. We wanted it to be clean. And I'm going to turn over to Joe, and he's just going to mention a little bit about the survey and then how Revise is constantly staying inundated with the best type of website design that there is, and they continuously follow that, and they've just been amazing to work with. So I'm going to turn it over to them, and he's going to can say anything that he likes.
So thank you very much for inviting me. I just want to let you guys know that, as Dan said, we're always trying to do better than the last website. And a lot of times when you do websites, you're always guessing at what the residents want. So we actually did a survey with 13 other municipalities that were similar in population like you, and asked the residents how they want the website laid out, what's important to them. And just in a nutshell, I just want to give you the quick results and let you know we utilize those best practices for your website. So, you know, if I was a betting person, you know, I would bet on that this is going to be very successful and your residents are going to love it. Of course, there'll be that 3% that don't, but the rest of them will love it. So the summary of the results are that they want a homepage to be their daily dashboard. They want to be able to go there and with minimal reading, glance over the whole web page and boom, click on a button to get what they're looking for and get there in one click. They also don't want it to be very wordy. They don't want tons of paragraphs or anything. They want everything to be right to the point. Rather than graphics and cartoons, they want to have pictures. They also want to be able to use it really well on a mobile phone. In your area of Michigan, 71% of residents to municipal websites strictly on their mobile phone. So this is now their tool to get the daily information, stay updated. So we put in additional programming that if they're on the new phones that have those high definition video cards, it turns them on to make it a slightly more elegant experience. So there's a lot of little things that we've added into the website, all based upon what the residents are telling us, how they want it laid out and how we want it to perform for them. So that's the quick overview. And I just want to let you guys know we're really proud and we're excited as you guys are, especially Dan and Alicia, to get this thing launched. So thank you for all of the efforts for you and your team. And I'll turn it back over to Dan and Alicia.
Thanks, Joseph. We appreciate you coming to the meeting tonight to discuss that survey. I think it was really important when we started developing this website that we constantly discuss that as a team, you know, how to make this site as user-friendly as possible. So we can see up here, we have one-click navigation buttons where people can apply for jobs, find the Park and Rec department, and then our FAQ almost, how do I do these things, you know, find a landfill pass, all of that. So the idea is just from coming on the site, within seconds, they can scroll over these things and find one click, go to do one click and find what they need to. So all of this we can change and customize as we see fit too, so.
And hey, this is Ryan Board. Good to see everybody. And as you see, like the site is very visual. All of these, you know, these images and graphics are customizable. We can change them very easily. And we can even on this homepage right here, you can have a video play. We have one we're working on one right now that's really going to showcase all of the township. But it just shows you how visual and like engaging this site can look.
I also want to mention our new pop-up is a lot smaller, so it's not right in your face. But this is really great because we can change this out at any time. You know, hopefully when we get past COVID, we can have a sign up for our e-newsletter, and we'll talk about that next. And I'm sorry, I'm still logged in as editing, so that's my fault. You can see our editing panel here, but the public will not be able to see that. But this notification button or pop-up is really helpful, especially with our COVID alert and updates.
And those edit buttons show you how like easy it is for us to just edit everything we need. It won't be like very difficult for us to go through and fix things when we need to.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Great. Our next is our kind of like quick links. Again, if they can't find it in the one-stop shop up top, they have the option to go to meetings and agendas, forms and permits, payment center, and kind of find what they need. We love this kind of scrolling bar. We can add and customize as much as we want. So again, election information is up there right now, but we can move it to the front or the center whenever we get closer to a bigger election. So there's a lot of really awesome customizable things we can do with that.
And then on this homepage, we have things to really spotlight the newest things, the biggest things that's happening in the township. Right now, we have the latest news thing that one is very visual, so it draws people in, but also we get to highlight the big things that are happening in the township. Currently, right now, the snow emerging, clearly the biggest thing that happened. It'll show up right there, nice and big and bold, so everyone can, as they're going through the website, can find it very quickly and are up to date and everything.
One of the newest features is our awesome calendar of events. So this is not live yet until we go live starting tomorrow. But when it does go live, you'll be able to see these little icons and each one of these that has an event. So obviously we're just looking at our meetings right now, but you can look at our events like Forgotten Harvest. We have assessing calendar on here, the senior center calendar. When we start opening up, we have a lot of functionality with this. And again, people can subscribe to this calendar and get notifications, and I'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah, and then just to continue to talk about how we want to like feature all the great things that are happening in the community. The economic development part is really a great way for us to pick the, you know, the projects we're most excited about. We can visually show them here and help draw, you know, public attention to things. So right now, the current development projects, that's something that it's a map that Director Power from Building and Planning put together, the zoning map, obviously, another big one. But this is just a space to really showcase the big and great things that we are doing after, not just the ones that are like very poignant right now, but the ones that we're very excited about in general. And this is all customizable. We can change this as it goes and highlight whatever we want, which is really, really great that we have that customizable aspect to this.
And then we get all the way down to the bottom of the front page. And remind you, this is just the front page of this website. We have so many options and choices to really navigate through this, change this. Ryan, Dan, and I like to think of this as a living website. It's constantly going to be updated and changed. But our footer at the bottom has our social media links. We can adjust any or change any of these helpful links or department links. Obviously, our contact information too. And then my favorite part, once we go live, you can sign up for e-notifications. So when you put your email in here, it's going to bring you, let's see, to something like this, where you can sign up for text alerts, email alerts, and anytime we update one of these pages with pertinent information, we will send out, please notify these people, and you will get either a text or email about things that are happening. So this is really, really important to communication. It really kind of starts us with a two-way communication for our residents and with this website. And I think it's probably one of the best features of a site like this is if a water main breaks or something like that, yes, we can use Nixle, but we also have this option as well. And then Ryan is going to go over the intranet feature. I just have to.
While she's looking for it. So the intranet basically is our internal communication through the site. So someone like Nicole from HR, she now has the ability to, on our own site, have a place where employees can log in. So where you'll see right now, Alicia is like going through the login in the employee portal. And then these are like backdoor pages that we can have. I'm sorry, what was that? I'm sorry. These are backdoor pages so that HR can have employee documents that are in one space that is really easy to find for our employees. Building and planning, they're planning out some stuff for their team. Everyone can, like, any department that wants these, these employee spaces in the back end of the website can have them, and we can customize them for each department, which is really, really great. Because instead of everyone doing their own thing, we can keep it centralized on our site and make it really, universal for the township, which is great for communication. It's great for, organization. And we're really excited to see how every department can utilize this.
Just a quick question. Everything's private, though. I mean, the privacy is of utmost importance, right?
Correct. Yes. So we can have as many logins and usernames as we want. Yep. There's no limit to that. Great question.
But nobody else can see what somebody else is saying.
So it's not really like a chat like that. It's more for the director to put news and information, and then the staff can log in and download those documents or see those documents. Yeah.
Yeah, you can think of it as like a resource for employees. They can grab things, but they can't really leave anything behind.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
No worries.
I'll go back to the home page. And any other questions?
Yeah, I'd like you to show the permit section.
Yeah, definitely. So we go to public services, building and planning, and we have all of our permits here. So I think the biggest thing is an FAQ of how do I get my permits? Because people always ask about that. So where do I get a building permit here? This will actually take you to the permit itself. We also have up here forms and permits.
So they can fill that out on the screen?
I'm sorry?
Can they fill it out on the screen?
So they can, and actually building and planning and communications talked about that. They are working with BSNA, and they're about to launch that where it will be fillable with BSNA and they can pay right on the spot. So instead of bringing in this new fillable form and then switching it for permits, we decided it would be a lot of training for, I guess, everyone and the public. So we do have a fillable form, and that is our code of ordinance. So let me get to public safety. Oh, it's right there. So this is a fillable form. My computer loads. Sorry. And this is where people can actually, still loading. They can fill out the form right on our website. And when the form is complete, the ordinance officers get an email. They can then log in and take care of the business. So they can make a report, they can call that person, they can do whatever they want. So we do have the option for fillable forms, and the building and permits team will be rolling those out. It will just be a little different because they'll be able to pay as they go. So yeah.
What is the #1 request that we get in this building? I already know what the answer is. What's the #1 complaint? Roads.
It's easily accessible on several different areas. So if the supervisor wants to talk to it, but yeah, we made it extremely easy to get right to the county's website to report road issues, as Alicia is pointing to right now.
Yep. How do I report a road hazard? I think this is a really cool feature too that Denise showed us in the how do I section. Is it's really just a township FAQ. How do I get a landfill pass? How do I report a road hazard? And then all of these are quick links too, as well.
Very nice.
Could you bring them really quickly to that the road reporting a road hazard form? How quickly it as a one step to get right to the county's website.
Oh, good. I love that. Give it right to them.
Yep. And like Dan was saying, we have this under multiple departments too. So like, for example, I know Treasury has it under theirs, Supervisor's office has it under there too. So every department, I think that was getting calls was like, can we put that in our FAQ? It would really be helpful. So yeah.
A lot of detail.
A lot of detail.
And if I could interrupt quickly, at the top where the search engine is, it's a keyword search engine. So if someone doesn't want to read through all those, they can start typing in their questions and it'll start trying to give them the answers immediately as well. So there's a lot of things that can put into the website to shorten the amount of time for a resident to actually get the information while they're going through. So.
Yeah, thank you, Joseph. I had everyone's screen over that when we were doing the home screen. So I totally skipped over that, the search engine and also our translator. So this is really cool. This is all the different languages our website now translates to. Now, when we did it with the supervisor, I changed it and we had trouble getting it back. So let me see if I can do it. So now everything's in French. Right? And then I can change it back to English if I can find English again. This is where I'm in trouble.
But it's in.
Shoot, my little thing.
And all the way to the right where it says Jaga, which means share. That's a social media sharing app. So people 20 years to 38 years and older, they like to pull information from the website. They can actually grab the information off, let's say you had a page on free flu shots, and pull it in their personal social media and send it off. So there's more communication tools that we could just sit here and list forever that are really going to help out everybody of all different ages.
And Elise, I believe it's the fifth one down from the very left.
Right there.
Right here.
No,
Okay.
nope.
One up, one up.
One up.
There you go.
Sorry, everybody.
No worries.
Yeah.
All
We'll,
right.
we'll work on that. So if you go back and put it to English, it'll just go right to English automatically. You won't have to go through that. So Denise will work on that for you. Good job, Brian.
Again, the great thing about like the translator and everything else that Revise has done with this site is that it is ADA compliant, and it is part of what makes us much more accessible to all of our township and all of our residents.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
like the picture.
It's very important to be accessible. Good job.
Yeah. So I will remind the board that the board picked this company because, among other things, they did an extensive surveying on exactly what people wanted in their website so that we could provide something. We don't get a lot of community input on a lot of the projects we do, so we have to depend on us going out and asking them what they want. And part of this project involved the what questions do I get? And I know the clerk's office and the treasurer's office worked a lot on that. What phone calls come in and what do people ask for? So it's fun for me to walk around and see, Brittany and Kathy and sitting at the computer, typing in answers to the website, because you're just used to normally seeing directors do this kind of stuff, but everybody in the building got involved in this thing. We had Hannah working on, well, I didn't have her. She was working on her own. She was having fun with it. What kind of crazy questions do I get every day? Can I own a cat in Van Buren? Does it have to be on a leash? I mean, there was just everything they could think of. They were trying to get into there. So it's kind of a cool website. Right. Does anybody else have any questions before we let them go?
What time will this be launched?
So we are kicking off the launch tomorrow at 8 a.m. It will take 24 to 48 hours. So hopefully it launches all is well. And I am saying that we are coming in just right on time because the baby's due date is Friday.
I was going to ask, but I didn't know if I could.
Yep, baby's due date is Friday. So when we signed the contract with Joseph, I said, "Hey, Joseph, we got to hit the ground running because we're on baby schedule here." So we
objective number one. One thing you want to know when we switch it live is that the website will propagate along the internet in different regions, how it ever feels like it. That's why it could take up to 24 hours to certain residents to see the website finally get to their area, because these different internet routers throughout, the whole area. So it takes a little while. However, if you know that, you're in the office and one of the staff members to the right can see it, what you want to do is clear the cache of your browser, because it still may be pulling up the old temporary files, and that's how you know if it is actually there or not. So some people may say, "Oh, it's not on," and someone say, "Mine is." Get them to clear their cache and then come right on up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the board's approval. We'd like to launch tomorrow morning. I think that thumbs up would be fine. Everybody thumbs up for launching tomorrow.
Kudos for everybody's hard work.
All right.
Nice job.
Alicia, Ryan, Joseph, Dan, everybody in the township hall.
And Denise, she's listening.
Yes,
and Denise.
Sorry. Denise.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you, board.
We're going to be
Thank you.
All right. All right. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, where am I? Oh, okay, public comment, unfinished new. I guess public comment again. For unfinished and new business. Is there anybody for public comment? Moderator, one or two.
Yes, there actually is. We have a Michael on the line here. Michael, you are free to talk. You just have to unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Can you guys hear me?
I can,
Yes.
Michael.
So good evening. I appreciate the fact that you guys are hosting this virtually to keep the wheels of government turning. As Leon alluded to, we are both on the board of the Andover Farms Homeowner Association. So I leave it to you to decide which of us you should feel sorrier for, though I would appreciate if you left that comment out of the minutes. But, the reason I'm calling in, and I apologize for doing this, but there just is like a pervasive problem, at least in our sub, and I'm sure it's common throughout the township. I'm a big believer that good manners are the lubricant that makes society work well. And there's a pretty endemic failure. And again, I'm an Ohio guy by birth, and it appalls me how bad Michigan people tolerate like really lousy snow removal. But this is not here to bitch about the plowing. It's about the things that homeowners can do to make things better for all of us. I looked at the website on the ordinances today, and I don't see the snow emergency ordinance. I do see that we have the requirement that people shovel their walks, but I didn't see any language about having them clear the streets when plows come through. And so in my sub, on my street alone, we had one guy blow his snow into the street, which again, as the guy paying the bill, that kind of annoys me. We had other people parking where the plow had to go around it. And then now the mailman can't get to those mailboxes. I know Leon's fielded multiple calls from people in cul-de-sacs complaining that the snowplow can't get in there. And we have people that refuse to shovel out the fire plug. And again, not to be a grumpy old man, I'm 51, so I guess I'm half grumpy. But again, when you buy certain pieces of land, you inherit the the problems that come with it. If you bought the corner lot, that means you get to shovel 80 feet of sidewalk. Sorry, you bought it. When you bought the lot with the fire plug, it means you get to shovel it out because you bought it. And when you block the street, you make it worse for everybody. And so I'm just suggesting to the township board respectfully that you guys strengthen the language a bit. Again, I didn't see any specific snow emergency ordinance here. I saw one on Royal Oak's website. There's a couple others. You guys do have the ordinance requiring that people shovel their sidewalks, which I think is appropriate. I would encourage you to think about strengthening things about not blocking the streets, especially in case of excessive snowfall. Like today, it's a historically, major snowfall, one of the biggest I've seen in quite a while. Why do we have to spell out that you shouldn't block the plow? Again, I hate to come to you guys with this, but I'd appreciate if we had something from the township with a little more teeth that would help improve the community for everybody. And so I'll turn off the semi-grumpy rat here and back to you guys.
We normally do not respond during this time. And the only reason I'm going to respond is because you're in Andover Farms, where you had 12 cars that did not pull off the streets after the township had issued a snow emergency, which required that people take their cars off the street so that emergency vehicles can get through. If an emergency vehicle cannot get through, we have the right to tow your car. We will send a cop to your front door to tell you that we're about to tow your car. In Andover Farms, your president of your HOA notified us that cars were not getting out of their streets. We therefore sent the Van Buren Township Police to Andover Farms to knock on those doors, although your plows had already gone through, to tell those people that during snow emergencies, they're required to remove their cars from the streets.
Well, I do appreciate that. I didn't see that ordinance anywhere in the website. I also don't see any announcement on the current webpage that there is a snow emergency. So,
we just got a new one. So that the
Sure.
last one was clumpy. We did put it on social media and Facebook. So, and it was announced yesterday because we have to give 8 hours notice. So.
Fair enough. Out of curiosity, under what authority are you guys doing that? Because again, I didn't see any ordinance in the township ordinances.
We have an ordinance. We have a snow emergency ordinance.
All right. Like I said, I searched today under snow and I didn't see anything related to that. So that's good to know.
If you want to send me or your HOA president an email, we will get that to you.
Well, no, I believe you. Like I said, just typing in snow, I searched the local ordinances for snow as well as emergency, and in the current website, neither came up. So I apologize for bothering you guys with a bit of business that's redundant. Like I said, the ordinance I found only talked about shoveling. It didn't talk about clearing the streets. So thank you for your proactive action. And again, I appreciate being a member of the community. I'm happy to live here, been here since 2003. And, by and large, I think you guys do a great job. So thank you so much.
It's a brand new ordinance and people should know about it more, so.
And I'd just like to say, it's never a problem hearing from our residents. That's what we're here for, to hear from the residents so that we can keep the community, the type of community the residents want.
Well, thank you. And I will say, I did put a note in the chat. It is very heartening to see the development going on at Willow Run. And if you guys really want to make me happy, get a Costco in here. But aside from that, life is great. So
Chick-fil-A too.
hey, there we go. That's all we need. And imagine the traffic jam that would cause. Have you guys ever seen a Chick-fil-A that's not wrapped?
Right.
Yeah, Kevin, I think Michael is correct. We do have we have a snow ordinance, but it don't reflect anything regarding moving vehicles. When I spoke to
We passed it last year.
no,
At your request.
no, you better speak with Public Safety Director Lorraine. He said we used the state ordinance in regards to that. I asked him why didn't we attach one when we put that ordinance in? Michael is correct. We don't have anything that reference vehicles.
And I would say when I did do a quick Google search, like I said, Royal Oak seems to have one that you guys probably could just file the serial numbers off to if you had to, but
99.9%.
We copied, according to Greg, we just used the state ordinance, he said, and we piggyback on it. But I asked him that last year and he told me that.
Yes.
We had a long discussion about this and but
I know. That's why I know. I talked to him last year and he told me that we didn't have one that specifically for our cars. We do have one that say you have to clear your sidewalk and your driveway 24 hours prior to a snowfall.
I approve language on that for Facebook, for quoting our ordinance.
Talk to Greg.
So we can always change it and improve it so that it does include sidewalks. And that's a good suggestion.
Okay.
And we like to hear good suggestions from our residents.
But Trustee Fraser, it includes sidewalks now. We don't have anything that reference vehicles.
Well, then we need to add it.
Yeah. Well, I opened up the can of worms. I leave it to you guys because you get paid the big money to actually take care of the worms. So have a good one.
Okay.
Mr. Supervisor?
Yes, Mr. Boynton.
If I may, now who is correct on whether or not we have one with the township or with the state? I'm a little fuzzy on that, but I can say
trust me, there's going to be calls tomorrow morning.
Okay. But I will say this. As far as what Clerk Wright has just mentioned, as far as piggybacking on the state ordinance, that does work and that is viable. I have used it the last time we had a significant snow, which I think was about a couple years back, and I used it this morning.
Yeah, well, that's what
our area. So we do have an effective means to approach this issue. It also depends on whether or not the HOA has it in their bylaws and or CCRs and put it into effect, letting their homeowners know as well. It does work, and they do exactly like Leon just mentioned, or Supervisor just mentioned. You call the municipality in which you're in, they will send a police officer to that person's porch. They will knock on the door. They will announce that they are about to take the car, and they either need to move the car by the time they get back to the car, or it will be taken for them. But we do have something.
Yeah, you're correct. You piggyback off the state, like I said, but in order to do that, the supervisor will have to post, like I think you said you did. He would have to post that it is a snow emergency in order for them to do that. That's what I was told by our director, Lorraine. So they did come out into the subdivision, but you had to be requested by the HOA, which I did call and request. But they give a warning, which is sufficient as long as the homeowners move his car or their car. I'm okay with that. But our biggest concern is, like Michael Benarsi said, is that we have been doing this for a long time, and that we just don't get the homeowners to respond. We put it in newsletters, we put it on our website, we have a Facebook page, and I think that's reason you need an ordinance. People tends not, you have the majority of people that responds, but you have that, what, 15% you would say, Don, in every subdivision that just don't respond to anything. And you need ordinances to make those people react. And unfortunately,
Have you actually taken a car?
we haven't. No, we haven't.
Once you take a car, everyone will get the point. Believe me.
Do this until last year in the middle
Well,
of the
that's what I'm saying, but that's hard to get the police to do, is take a car. That's the problem.
Do that yet.
You almost have to pull the teeth to get them to take a car. Now, some homeowner associations have it in their covenant. I mean, their bylaws. Homestead has in their bylaws that they can call service themselves and have the car towed, and they do that. I know that for sure. So it all depends. But our people don't like to. Our people don't want to do that, and I'm sure Kevin don't want them to do that neither. So,
Well,
that's
you
what
know,
I'm saying.
we hate doing that as well. And when we do, well, when we have done it, it has been with someone that we've asked about 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 times. Yeah, I mean, you know, a few years back when we had those 3 years where we had the coldest winter, and then we had the most snow for a winter, and then the year after that we had the coldest and the most snow for 3 years running. It got to be a bit much, and when the tow truck showed up with the police officer, yeah, everyone got the message, and they got their vehicles off the street. But I hear what you're saying. I agree with you, and I agree with Kevin. I hear what you're saying. Absolutely.
Okay. We're moving on to unfinished business. First item is new business is discussion on and considering approval of a proposed park sign design. Send it out to bid. Can I get a motion for approval of the park sign?
Supervisor, I make a motion, we approve the park signs as presented.
Thank you, Trustee.
Support.
Support by Mr. Martin. Okay, great, Mr. Renault.
Good evening. Good evening, board. Can you hear me?
We can.
Great. All righty. Give me 1 second. So the Public Services Department and Communications Department partnered with Ideation Orange to design new signage for the township parks. The reason that this project came about was during our French Landing Park improvement projects, we needed to replace the sign at French Landing Park. And instead of designing a sign specifically for that park, we wanted to take a holistic approach to it and make sure that we were able to use the style guide to have a cohesive feel around the township. So currently, many of our signs at our parks are either outdated or in need of some type of repair. Some areas also lack adequate signage. So as the investment in township parks grows through grant projects and capital improvement projects, it's really important that the township reinvest in how our community members are welcomed into our parks. It's just as important how confidently they're able to move about inside of them. Effective signage can make someone feel not only welcomed, but secure and confident, while ineffective signage can leave individuals confused and frustrated. So to work towards our goal of a cohesive sign family to use in the parks, we designed 5 different signs. There was a large park entry sign, a medium park entry sign, a general rules sign, a directional sign, and an amenity sign. And Ideation Orange, if you remember, is the same firm that did our gateway signage designs. Those signs will be bid out in this spring. So by designing them based off of the gateway signs that the Board of Trustees approved, it will really help to have a cohesive feel around the township. So give me a second and I will share my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this view is the Van Buren Park entry sign currently. This is the proposed large park entry sign. This is showing the large park entry sign at French Landing Park and at Riggs, main entry point. There's also a medium park entry sign that was developed for secondary entrances, such as this one at Riggs Park. This one mimics the small gateway sign a lot. So then here is a general park rules sign. So this would be, for example, this is showing one in French Landing, just general park rules that will help individuals know the expectations within the park. And then this is showing a directional sign to different amenities within the parks. And this is an amenity sign. So specific things like the sled hill or pickleball and tennis courts, things that have their own sort of specific rule set. And then that is showing the sign family. So the idea, if the proposed designs are approved by the board, we would put these out to bid alongside the gateway signs, 2 separate bids, but happening about the same time. We don't necessarily have a budget put aside for park signage, except for the one included in the French Landing Park Improvement Project. So what we would do is bid these signs out, get different prices for each of the different signs, and that way we could bring a phasing plan back to the board, similar to what we're doing with the gateway signs. Once we understand how much it is, how the board would like to move forward with replacing some of the signs around the township. Is there any questions? Supervisor, I think you're muted.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Just to let you know, I want to go back to that ski hill later on. I just got knocked off.
Oh, do you want me to share? Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
In the sled hill?
You know what? Go to the sled hill right now.
All right. Not cooperating. There you go.
Why don't I have anything? All right, you know what? I've been knocked out. You can hear me though, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go blind. Anybody want to talk? Because I can't see anybody.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
I like the signs. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. The signs are very appealing. They're easy to read. I like the color, and it's good for me. I like it. Good job.
Here. Same with me. It's a very, very, very nice product. Very nice product. They're clear, they're concise, they're succinct, very eye appealing. It's a good job. Good job.
Okay, it's been a long day, so I'm going to take this and run with it. Is there any other discussion on this before we send this? Basically, the vote is to approve the design so we can go out to bid and find out what the cost, so we can develop a phasing plan.
Supervisor, I have a few questions, if I may.
Really?
So I know that we had way back, it seems like, agreed to the entrance signs. And then from there, let me make sure I get this straight. So next, these plans for signs came before the 3 elected officials, correct? And then there, it came to the board. So, and although these signs are very nice, my question is, why wasn't the board included into that decision?
I don't understand.
So if it went, okay, so it's my understanding that these signs that that you're seeing before you were
Right.
first brought before the 3 full-time elected officials, correct?
They were
And
designed.
then they approved them, and then it got sent to us.
Correct. That's how it all goes. Everything goes.
Trustee Miller, the concept was brought before the 3 full-time elected, which is the same concept as the gateway signs. I think, if I'm not mistaken, right, Elizabeth, these are the same design format as the gateway sign. We're just using the same ones. We're using the same design. They use the same design with these. These hasn't been brought before the board prior, not the park signs, only the gateway signs.
So my question is, when does this go to Parks and Rec, the Recreation Committee, for their input? Wouldn't it go to them next? Are they going to be informed on this at their next meeting?
So they were actually, during the last Parks and Rec Committee board, we brought the preliminary information to them, letting them know that we would bring the actual designs to them next meeting after the board saw them. So they'll be presented at the March meeting.
So will there also be a pickleboard and tennis court sign as well for that area of the township?
So those are under the amenity signs. So once the process would be that we would go out to bid to get preliminary prices on each different sign type. Once we had a better idea of pricing, we would actually design the signs that the board wanted to move forward on. So we could design amenity signs for whatever areas that we'd like to do that for. But these are just kind of concepts.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing no further discussion, we have a motion and approval and support to take this out to bid. Clerk Wright, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Frazier,
Yes.
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
Trustee Barton,
Yep.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Treasurer Bud,
Yes.
yes for me, Supervisor,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. Before we go to the next one, I want to make a comment about the sled hill. You had a rare picture there that I had not seen. The sled hill has always been overrun with poison ivy and leafy thorny bushes and aphrodites and all sorts of creepy crawlers of vegetable type plants that aren't even that are invasive in Michigan. We have spent a lot of money over the last 3 years to bring that sled hill back. It is now really a good looking sled hill, and it has a lot of snow on it. So I hope to see a lot of people using it this year. It's in good shape, and we finally got the vegetation under control. But you had a rare picture there of all that vegetation gone. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, through the chair, Supervisor, I'm glad you mentioned that. I was going to say something about. I noticed the sled hill myself. I mean, I used to take my boys there a long time ago. And I say a long time ago, it's been a while, but
yeah,
I remember.
A long while.
I remember exactly what you're saying now. Yeah, it used to be all growing up, no rails. We had to make our way back up the hill best way we could. But but I like the concept now with the railing and everything, the steps. Seems like everything's been redone. It looks good.
We put some effort into it last year, and that knotweed that's there that you're talking about is very stubborn, and we have to clear it each year for a few years. And if we do it correctly, it should stay away, hopefully.
Okay. Let's see. All right. So I made the mistake of going to that file. So what's the next thing what's the next? Oh, here we go. New business discussion on and to consider approval of amendment number 1 to the 2019-2020 IGA with Wayne County Parks to increase the grant amount to $64,000. Can I get a motion for money?
So move.
I make a motion.
Right, and then who else? Treasurer Clerk Miller, Clerk, Trustee Miller. All right, I take it, Ms. Renault, you're going to be handling this also?
Yes. So the Department of Public Services received amendment number 1 to the 2019-2020 IGA with Wayne County Parks. So the county awarded Van Buren Township an additional approximately $32,000 for ongoing French Landing Park improvements project. And the county decided that instead of drafting a completely new IGA for the 2020-2021 year, they proposed just doing an amendment to the current IGA, the 2019-2020 amendment, which increases the grant amount from $31,845 to $64,277. So the board already approved this IGA with Wayne County Parks. They're just amending it and adding more money to our fund. So all good things.
So can you approve adding more money? I think I have no questions. So thank you to Al Heides for being so generous. So yeah.
Well, good. This is great news that we've got more money for French Landing.
Yeah. Okay. Hearing no further comments, Clerk Wright, would you please call the roll?
That's a yes for me. Treasurer Bud,
Yes.
Trustee Boyne,
Yep.
Trustee Frazier,
Yes.
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Supervisor,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. We have no further reports. We have no public comment. Do we have any public comment on non-agenda items?
Supervisor, I just have one comment from Mr. Michael Viniarek. He said he had to go, but I just thought I should read this because it's very nice. He said, I wanted to say that I had a brief discussion with the police officer at Speedway to thank him for his contributions to public order. He was thoroughly professional and a credit to the township. I'm very happy with the public safety officers. And I thank you to the board for making VBT a great place to live.
All right. Hey, spread the word. Okay. All right.
See no other public comment at this time.
Thank you. Does anybody on the board have any comments? No?
Through the chair, can I make a comment?
Sure, Trustee Miller.
So I know that a few weeks ago, the board decided to have by appointment only in the township hall, close the township, but it was by appointment only. And I'd like to know how that's working out with the doors being locked and people doing that by appointment only.
Doors are not locked. I mean, they still come in. If they don't have an appointment, then they either have to make an appointment or go out. The traffic is way down because they see the sign and they go back and they make their appointments. There's no traffic.
But isn't that the whole point of what we asked as a board, that we made a decision on, that door would be locked and that we had asked for that?
We never said the door would be locked ever. You'd have to go back and listen to that.
Well,
I wouldn't have allowed.
Kevin, we said we were closing the township and it was by appointment only. If you close the township, you're locking the door. Otherwise, it defeats.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. I don't recall we said that we were going to lock the doors. Now that would have changed my position. I didn't hear that we were going to lock the doors.
Then how can you close the township without locking the doors?
I heard that the motion was to do it by appointment and by each case on a case-by-case basis. I'm paraphrasing, of course. I don't remember it exactly, but I don't recall saying that we were going to be locking the doors. That's not what we agreed to.
I think it's counterproductive, though. If you don't lock the doors, then why do anything? Why not say we're open?
I could not do that conscionably. In my conscience, I cannot do that. I can't allow people to come to the door and not talk to somebody to find out what's going on when I've got somebody sitting 5 feet away from me.
But we do have someone there that would open and talk to people. We have a screener, do we not? Clerk Wright, your office is right in front of it.
Through the chair,
So they go through the door.
we do have a screener sitting there. I thought the supervisor and I had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, supervisor. That was my opinion. I thought that we voted to do it by appointment also, but and have the door closed and have the guy open the door when someone come there, and if there's nobody wasn't in the building, they could come, we could proceed. That's what I thought we was going to do, but I was told that wasn't the protocol, and sound like Don Boyne, Trustee Boyne doesn't remember us voting on that. I don't know what you guys remember. I did remember us saying we're doing it by appointment, and by appointment would be closing. I would think would be closing the door and opening.
During the discussion, I made it clear I would not lock the door. I just cannot do that conscionably.
Well, I'm just
Through
saying.
the chair.
It does. Well, we walk. If we don't close the door, I'll respect. We're operating the same, which is, it is, the traffic is lower right now, but we're operating the same as we were before. I'm not gonna make it a argument, but that's the same way we were prior to no appointments at all. So, I mean, the only reason I found out is because the one of the screeners asked me what was the what did we supposed to be doing, and I told him, and then he was told differently because he didn't know how to proceed. But the door isn't locked. The door is not locked, so from my understanding, they come in just like they always have, and they're let through.
No,
I was told.
No, that's not how
I
it's
thought
working.
there was somebody there.
There was somebody there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that nobody, you don't stop anyone, because once they get in, you don't want to put a student, a young adult in that situation. Once they get in, it's hard to tell somebody you can't come in once they're inside the building. So he allows them to go down and go wherever he needs to go.
No, only the treasurer's office is not by appointment.
I will say lately it hasn't been a lot of people in the township halls. I mean, it could be, the supervisor could be correct in regards to the appointment thing, but I don't think, from what we see, I don't think nobody really say they have an appointment coming in. Last week I didn't know anyone said they had an appointment. They just came in.
Well, if they don't have an appointment, we can call down to the department and see if they have an appointment available.
What I'm saying, most people that come in don't have an appointment. They don't.
They don't.
I hear them ask. I stood out there with them about an hour, and
they don't.
You have an appointment? They say no.
And they never will. They just don't.
And they just say okay. And he looks down and he see if anyone down there, he let them in.
Yeah. They're supposed to call down and see if it's okay, but okay.
It's basically working the same way.
Well,
At this
true
point,
supervisor.
it doesn't matter.
I mean, residents have to have access to the township hall. I mean, we can post signs out there. Maybe we should have somebody standing outside saying there's no entrance, but if, we're not doing business the way we did before, I don't know, but I don't know what we're accomplishing by letting them in.
The by appointment only has restricted greatly the amount of people that are coming into the building. If that was your goal, that's what you got. Okay, it is way down. I'd say it's a third of what it was.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Treasurer Bud, yes.
Can you hear the treasurer?
Yes.
Treasurer Bud, we can.
Okay. We have had very few people call for appointments. We have had people call from the car and want an appointment. And if there's nobody at the counter, we make them the appointment or ask them what time they would like to come in for an appointment. It hasn't been a problem. Traffic has slowed down, but if there is anybody at the counter, they will not let anybody else come until that person has moved away. So there's a part of me that says it's awful hard when some of our people are coming to the and can't get in because it's very frustrating for them. Because unfortunately, it seems to be our older residents that have to have that stamp on whatever they want to pay.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Treasurer, but that's why I'm not going to push the issue. I agree with what you're saying. That's why I made my comment the other day on the. I don't know if you guys read my email. I said I think we deal with more senior citizens than any nursing home do, but and that's the truth. That's not a joke. It's just the honest truth, you know. But I understand that's the nature of the residents that we have. They will not stop coming to the township, no matter what you do. So it has decreased dramatically. I don't have a big concern as of now. Hopefully, I think it made a curtail some of the traffic, which is good. Hopefully, we can get around this corner in a little bit. So I'm okay with the procedure, how we're working it right now. It seems to decrease the traffic.
All right. Are there any other?
We
comments?
seem to get more calls with people saying, I put it in the box. Have you got it? We probably spend a half of the time making sure that those people got that tax bill posted or water bill, whatever they're paying.
It's funny because that is the new one I get too for you. I put my money in the tax bill. Did the treasurer get it?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the way I thought it was supposed to work too, as well. If they call and make an appointment, fine. If they show up at the door and the screener checks with whatever department that they're going to, and there's no one there, then they can go to that department.
That is the way.
I would like to think that in the times that we are in right now, that our staff is knowledgeable enough and forward-thinking enough to be able to fit any visit by any resident of the township into the daily workings of the township in a very safe and effective manner. I would really like to think that. I really like to think that.
We have not had a single COVID incident since spring of last year within the administration building. So we've been pretty well off. So. Okay. All right. I have nothing else, so I can call for adjournment.
So moved.
I got a Don Boynton, so moved.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Frazier. All right, I have a motion. I have support. Hearing nobody arguing, we are adjourned. Thank you.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Everyone.